A very cool and wet Thursday morning here in the city of Abuja. Some people will say cold, but I think cool it's better. Yeah, a raining Wednesday morning. I say good morning again. Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM here in the city of Abuja. This is the voice of the people and citizens forum. That's the segment this morning. Dele Ayodo is my name.
And I am Toby Joseph. Like I mentioned earlier, on Citizens Forum, we'll be having the Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Suraj Ishola Adekunbi, is right here in the studio. We'll be looking at first the performance of the 8th legislature in the Ogun State. And of course, we'll be looking at many of the laws that they have actually come up with, assented to by the governor, and of course, the benefit for the people. Also, there are some bills that are currently in limbo that are also of paramount importance. We'll also be looking at some of these, of course, how the people can tap into the enormous potential that these bills or laws, as it were, represents. And of course, we will be looking at the efforts the State House of Assembly also made and the input they made into the ongoing constitutional amendment. You recall that a lot of issues are being looked into, talking about the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. One is the issue of financial autonomy for the House of Assembly, and that is the legislative arm of government. That is one that a lot of Nigerians have said that many of these governors have pocketed. But that is one thing that the Constitutional Amendment is trying to address. One other issue is the issue of autonomy for the third tier of government, and that is the local government. What exactly are the moves being made by our legislators to grant this local government autonomy and make them more effective, more efficient when it comes to service delivery and good governance to our people at the grassroots level? These are many of the issues that will form our discussion this morning with Mr. Speaker.
All right, I remember that from next week, many of these governments across the country will be celebrating some 6 years, some 2 years of their inauguration democracy day, they call it, here in Ogun State. And for Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable Suraj Adekunbi, it's 6 years in office. So let's see how far they've been able to capture the assignment at the hearts of the people of the state in terms of the effect of laws made on the people. We welcome Mr. Speaker to the Citizens Forum. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Dele Ayodo. Good morning, uh, Mr. Tobi. Fragment.
Mr. Toby Joseph is the name.
I always address
you. Okay, right, Honorable. Let's go straight into it. A lot of bills have been passed by the State House of Assembly. I don't know whether you can actually count on your fingertips some of these. But let's look at those that are of paramount importance to the people, that people can have some kind of direct benefit derive a direct benefit from. Can you please let us through some of these bills?
Well, first of all, let me say very good morning to you all and to appreciate you for your steadfastness for creating a platform through which we can reach out to our people. And of course, you agree with me that in the last 1 year, we have done a lot. And everybody can really feel the impact of what we have done. It is evident all over the places. First of all, let me talk about the.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. When you say everybody can feel the impact of what you have done, as the executive arm,
as the legislative arm of government.
Okay.
Because without doing the needful, probably the system wouldn't have really, come up with something that will have direct impact in the lives of the citizenry. Let me start with the 2017 appropriation bill. To God be the glory that in the last 6 years, we have established it as a tradition that the bill for the next fiscal year normally, we normally pass it before the end of that particular financial year. And I want to appreciate my distinguished colleagues for their understanding for this. I want to appreciate the executive too for being proactive in this regard. And of course, everybody was part of the process when Mr. Governor, you know, come to present the bill. And you could see that immediately after that, the House of Assembly, we always do our bit by ensuring that we engage all the agencies, ministries, and parastatals. And of course, before the presentation, the executive at their level, they have, engaged. They will have engaged all the stakeholders by way of town hall meeting. Thereafter, they will do all the necessary thing to put up the bill. And after the presentation, we normally ensure that we are being critical in handling the bill. And the long and short of it is that we normally pass it before the end of that financial year. And the executive, the governor, do assent to it before the before we enter into the new fiscal year. Of course, this will, agree with me that this will create a platform to start on a good note. And you could see that once we have an operating guide in terms of budget, definitely it will be very easy for us as a government to hit the ground running. And of course, that has been an established tradition. I haven't done that. In the past, our people used to talk about our roads are bad, they are in deplorable state, they are this or that. Of course, you are, how will I put it, a watchdog, and you have been monitoring activities in the assembly there. We have come up with a lot of resolution that has led to a kind of agencies, being alive to their responsibilities even before we swing into full action at the moment. And you could see that each and every time, each member will come up with the situation report, from their various constituencies. And to God be the glory that anytime we call upon the affected agencies, they are always, alive to their responsibilities. Uh, we have really done well in the area of laws, and you could see that one of the most very popular, bill that we were able to put in place was that of anti-land grab law. It's all encompassing. The anti-kidnapping law, courtesan, we were able to do that, and everybody was happy about it because we engaged all the stakeholders during the stakeholders forum, and they had their input. And you could see that the bill was accelerated, was given accelerated passage, and it was assented to by His Excellency as soon as we presented the bill to him. Another one is the upgrading of Moshood Abiola Polytechnic to Moshood Abiola University of Science and Technology. Of course, this is a very unique opportunity, owing to the fact that Poly is a state-owned institution, and for federal government to have given us that opportunity. I think we need to appreciate the effort of the government, especially His Excellency, in this regard. Of course, we have upgraded that to Mashood Abiola University of Science and Technology. And a similar thing, we want to appreciate the fact that Ogun State Polytechnic has come back on board. And to God be the glory that the bill, the two bills were done on the same day. And at least at the moment, the Ogun State Polytechnic will be situated and located at Ipokia local government. And of course, this will create a platform for people to have access to tertiary education.
Sorry, Tobi. Let me let's use this issue of kidnapping, cultism, and the anti-land grabbing law you passed. And some people are of the opinion that, yes, agreed, the constitutional role of the legislative arm is to legislate and then you oversight, you may not have the power to enforce. But that in as much as this is recognized, the legislative arm is not putting into cognizance the vacuum, the disconnect that usually comes up between some laws enacted and its implementation. That's why the anti-land grabbing law is being used as an example that as we speak, we still have high cases of kidnapping in the state, land grabbing in the Mowe, Bafuazis, and Obada as it, and of course, just about 2-3 days, the governor also confirmed the growing cases of cultism in schools. The police have said the problem they have, particularly with the anti-land grabbing, is the criminal code. Except a violent crime is established, maybe there is death or assault, they cannot really do anything about the law. Are you not bothered about these things, that some of these laws are being described as wild goose?
Well, let me just appreciate the fact that everybody will speak into this thing based on the way it appears to them. And individuals' opinion will differ. And to me, it's relative. But the position of the law, as far as this law is concerned, is very clear. Because all the stakeholders were engaged. They were part of the process that led to the passage of the bill, and of course they had their input. And when they really, go into the details, they will know that we have taken care of all this. Yes, there's a section that required a task force to be set up. So we believe that we have really done best of judgment.
Do we have the task force now?
Well, I wouldn't know. We cannot make a law and execute the law.
That's the question.
We cannot make a law and execute the law.
Mr. Speaker, that's the question.
I is to ensure that we do the needful. We involve all the stakeholders during the gestation period of the law, in preparation for the bill to be passed. And of course, we have done our bit.
So what then is the
as we
sense
speak
of
today, let me just tell you this. You cannot really say that has not been, be put in place, because when Mr. Governor wanted to assent to this, all the stakeholders too, everybody, all the stakeholders were there, the security agencies, all the community CDC, the representatives were there, the traditional rulers, they were still part of the process that led to they were that part of the process when
now,
Mr. Governor assented to
the poly too. You just said it will be situated in Ipokia, and there are stories that it's going to be a multi-campus university in Mekwa, is expected to benefit some other areas. Which of these positions is?
Well, yeah, you see, as long as the bill has been passed into the law, it has become a public document. And I want to tell you that Ogun Poly is going to be a multi-campuses institution. And of course, by the time the 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 main campus is actually established, there come other things, because you cannot build something on nothing.
The main campus will be situated in Epokia.
Okay, yeah.
Where are the other locations that you are proposing that will have?
I is to establish the fact that this institution is going to be a multi-campuses institution. It is the prerogative of the executive to look critically into the whole situation and come up with the possible locations of this.
Did you influence the situation of Mapoli in Epokia, Mr. Speaker?
How will I influence such?
Did you influence?
I did not. But this thing is about good people of Ogun State. During the stakeholders forum, all the stakeholders were there. They had their input.
And they were the ones who...
The aggregate of all the stakeholders' contribution was what led to the final report of the on the bill. I did not influence it.
Its situation. Okay. Well, what do you think the people of Epokia and of course the Yoa zone stand to benefit from this Mapoli being situated?
Well, I just mentioned that number one, people have access to qualitative tertiary education, and the location will bring about employment creation, wealth creation, and of course the area will definitely come to limelight. And you know, by having the opportunity, this will really help our people to be more educated, and they will be influenced by the location of the institution in that area.
All right, let me quickly take you to the issue of budget. Dele touched about it earlier, talking about oversight. I know that many committees in the House have been going around MDAs trying to supervise how they've been able to implement budget. How would you rate the executive, the MDAs under the executive as regards budget performance and execution of project?
Right, so far so good. Budget is just a proposal. You should know that if you can have an ambitious budget, but the key thing is the funding. So far so good. We are not doing bad. And based on the assessment so far, and based on the availability of fund, because you need to situate the two, we are not doing bad. And we believe that with the little we have been able to have access to, I believe that compared to what we have done, the government has really done well. And the ministries and the agencies, based on our assessments, they are doing well.
Now, again, on the oversight, not too long ago, the House requested for a breakdown, the exact figures of the state's budget, and especially from the finance commissioner. Can you enlighten?
State what?
Debt profile, and then how they spent the Paris loan.
It's when you are talking about the debt profile of the state. The truth of the matter is that each and every time Mr. Governor is coming for the presentation of the budget, all this information are readily made available in the presentation. And just like I've said earlier,
the breakdown, because
everything everything is readily made available in the budget. Because if there is no yesterday, probably there won't be today. If there is no today, there won't be tomorrow. When we are talking about budgeting, you make reference to the past, the current reality, and what is expected in the nearest future. So all of these, they are uh, they are in the the
So what
budget
about the
presented.
Paris Club
Thank
because
you.
the
The issue
House
of
Committee asked for it?
yes, we have to because it's part of our oversight function. We need to know how and what the the money is being expended on, and you could see that uh, when we got this money, His Excellency the Governor uh, came out, informed the group of Ogun State on what the fund will be used for, and you could see that they had an agreement over there on how to go about it. We are not the only person that even oversight this fund. The National Assembly even came around to oversight them, to know, to know what the money is being expended.
So has the commissioner given it to the House?
Yes, he
And
has come around.
are you satisfied
We
with
are okay
what
with the presentation. We are okay. He was with us last week. He was there.
you are satisfied?
Yes, we are okay. The members were there. Questions were asked. So
Now let's go to one issue too. I know apart from being a legislator, you're also a politician. There's always been this talk in the public about what the role of the legislator should be. Yes, the constitution says you legislate and oversight, but the people somehow, maybe some people have said it's a creation of few politicians, now believe that as a legislator you must also provide road, you must provide boreholes or water, and then you must provide electricity. The Speaker of the House of Representatives came out clearly to say to Nigeria that they are demanding too much from you legislators in that regard. But in reality, Mr. Speaker, because when many of you go out campaigning, you promise all this. In reality, can we say that the people should leave you out of these projects?
well, let me just correct this erroneous impression that probably during the campaign period we'll be promising our people roads, electricity, poles, and other etc. etc. But the truth of the matter is that, as far as I'm concerned, there's never been a time that I promised people
No, I'm not
such.
looking at you. I'm looking at
Let
the
me. I
entire
can speak about myself.
institution.
I can speak
You
about
are a
myself.
leader, sir.
Let me just. You will understand me by the time I'm done. Now, the truth of the matter is that we are voted to represent our people. The least we could do is to facilitate projects to our various constituencies, and of course, you know that it is these constituencies that are made up the state, because all the areas, all the local governments are duly represented at that level. So when we are talking about promising our people that will do this, will do that, I wouldn't know. Maybe to some people that doesn't understand the responsibility of a lawmaker. We are not to execute any project, but we can facilitate. But because of the fact that our people doesn't understand this, they don't know the role of the executive and the legislature. I think the judiciary, they are exempted from this, because of their own
They don't seek purpose.
So the truth of the matter is that I think you are in the position to enlighten our people on the roles of the legislation. We are to appropriate, fund for projects. We are to make law for the betterment of our people. And we are to carry out oversight function to ensure that all the money, the fund appropriated, is judiciously spent on what it was appropriated for.
So what then does constituency fund mean?
Yes, thank you. The constituency fund, to me, is just part of an effort, because of the fact that if as a lawmaker, if you refuse to point out to one particular that this thing is what I you know this is what I have done, people doesn't believe that you have done
your job.
You have done your job. Let me just cite Ayodo for example. I facilitated the project to my constituency with all due respect to my distinguished colleagues for their understanding, support and cooperation in that context. But when my people go back to Ayodo, they say, you see, people that bring that did this for us. The truth of the matter is that if I have not facilitated, what will have happened? I'm on here. Ditto for other projects.
What does facilitate mean? I'm sorry about it.
Pardon?
What does facilitate mean? When you say you facilitated it, what does
yes I have to facilitate project to my constituency, and it's a normal thing.
That's what I want to understand. I want to understand.
Lobbying. Lobbying.
So that's also you list the projects you want, that you go and meet you to execute it, and then ask them that you want.
You see, let me just say this. What I've just done is still part of the process. The same thing, all the lawmakers, we are doing same. In fact, when you just move to anywhere in the world, it's the same thing.
You have to lobby
You have to lobby.
And even the executive.
It's part of the whole thing. Horse trading.
All right, Mr. Speaker, let us take you to the issue of constitutional amendment. There are a whole lot of issues that are raging on as regards the constitution. First is financial autonomy of the legislative arm of government. Like I said earlier, many Nigerians believe that they are nothing but appendages of the state government, rubber stamp, as it were. The speaker decides who becomes the House of Assembly member. He decides what gets to the House of Assembly. He decides who gets
the governor.
The governor. Sorry. And so that is the mindset of an average Nigerian. How important is financial autonomy to our democracy? Financial autonomy of the legislative arm, and of course, would you also say that even if granted financial autonomy, many of these conceptions or misconceptions, as it were, will be a thing of the past?
Well, I believe that when you look at our constitution, the three arms of government, they are mutually dependent. And of course, the issue of financial autonomy has been an issue that has been on since inception of the current republic. And of course, to a great extent, when you look at the three arms of government, in the essence of it, we are coordinate. We are coordinate. But when you are saying that you are equal with other arms of government, and you don't have what it takes to operate, what will you do? By way of design, when you look at our constitution, you can do little or nothing. But we want to appreciate the fact that we have a distinguished senator as the governor. Of course, he will do it at least to a great extent, really. But if you want to look at it critically, I think what we deserve, we don't deserve anything other than financial autonomy. that will make us to do our job the way it should be done. And they have argued this thing, at different fora.
Would you say the governors of the federation are not in support of this financial autonomy?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
From the
Let me just tell you this. The whole thing lies in the legislature. Yes, we are having there's ongoing constitutional amendment now. All that it takes for us to get autonomy is just to have 24 of us in support of that particular session. Once that one is done, what will any governor do?
Can you boast of that figure? That's what I'm asking. Can you boast of that?
I wouldn't know. I can only speak about ourselves. The other time we supported it. Our governor did not say anything. In fact, we even supported the local government autonomy. So what else?
And now that is why my question is valid, because if you can't summon, or if you cannot,
our governor is in support of it now.
If you cannot,
based on the provision that you can only share what is available.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Speaker? What do you mean by sharing what is available?
You know now.
How will you know?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
You know now.
What are you sharing? Okay,
you can only spend what is available.
Okay, now what is pertinent, Mr. Speaker, is that you get these 24 state house of assemblies to vote in support of financial autonomy. Now, if it is difficult for you to get that 24, it shows that there is some kind of influence that some governors.
I can only speak about my state, and we have demonstrated that high level of responsibility.
Okay, let's stay within
our
state.
Governor supported us the other time. He didn't say anything. That was I put it that. What will any governor say?
Mr. Speaker,
at your level you do the right thing.
Now, staying within your state, he just talked about local government. As it is now, the Constitution appears to place the supervision with the House of Assembly, true or false, the legislative arm. But we have issues of, like we just mentioned, appropriation or appropriating money to this local government. Recently, Ogun State increased from 20 to 57 via the local council development authorities, and as we speak, I can say this emphatically. Yes, it went through your doors, the process. Almost all those LCDAs cannot take off properly. Where do you now come in to oversight in this regard?
Well, let me just tell you this. You know, before we came up with 20 local government and 37 LCDA, totaling 57 altogether, we went through a process. So we are talking about some of the LCDA not, taking off. There's an ongoing process in that regard. Asset sharing and all the necessary the facilities that.
But, Mr. Speaker, some people say, do you name the baby after the baby was born or before the baby was born? You are putting the cart before the horse. I think all these should have been the first steps to be taken before giving birth to those CDS itself.
But the truth of the matter is that you cannot, the analog you just mentioned to me has nothing to do with this kind of process. It has nothing to do with this kind of process, because there must be a law in place.
You do not think over.
Yes, you cannot put cart before the horse. There must be a law in place. The law that will direct you on what to do before you commence any process at all. What we are doing in the state is still in order regarding that.
Are you satisfied that, yes, given you've done your legislative bit,
yes,
the outcome of that legislative laws we passed, it's almost more important.
Everybody is happy about it. Everybody, including yourself.
No, okay.
Did you not have your SCDA?
All right, then. If you look at your time, you discover that we are getting close to 10 o'clock, where we have to take the break. for the 10 o'clock news to come up. We'll have to take the break and we'll be back with the Right Honorable Suraj Adekunbi, the Speaker of Ogun State House of Assembly. Don't go anywhere. And there you welcome back, Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM. In the city of Abeokuta, this is the voice of the people, Citizens Forum. This morning, we are looking at the legislative arm of government. That's what we have on focus. How far have they been able to affect you as a citizen, as a resident here in Ogun State? And we have with us Right Honorable Suraj Ishola Adekunbi, the Speaker of Ogun State House of Assembly. Mr. Speaker, now again, oversight function, that's the happens to be the biggest of all the powers of the legislature apart from the appropriation and others. And as a legislator, you are the true representative of the people. You are expected to be the voice, the eye, and nose of your constituent, the community. Therefore, it is expected that what you say, your position should reflect that of the community. True or false, sir?
Well, so far so good.
No, I'm going somewhere. I still have this question. I don't want to confirm if that my allusion is right. Now,
big yes.
Yes, recently there were so many debate uproar about the 10-lane project in the state, and as I speak, it has refused to go. Statistically, people will say majority of the people of Ogun do not want that project, no matter the defense given by government. That is not to say the project is not good, but the position of the majority is that this is not the appropriate or they do not want it, so to say. But the state government went ahead and do it, also using some legislative backing in their support. If you collect opinion of your constituent people, will you say, we are not looking at whether that project is right or wrong, but we are looking at whether it represented the voice and the reasoning, the thought of the people. Will you say that project was right?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, when we look at uh, the situation of things globally today, I believe that what we are doing at the moment is something that we're supposed to have done probably in the last 2 decades. And since somebody that came up with this kind of project is something that I believe that everybody, that I believe that should be commended by everybody. And of course, even the 6 lane we are doing, when you ask our people, they will tell you that we don't need it at the moment. But the fact remains that the more we have good roads, the more we have inflows of people. So I want to believe that, to me, if you have the opportunity to do 20 lanes, the time to do it is now.
The question is, as a representative of the people,
we are in support of it.
You...
We are in support of it because it's meant for the good people of Ogun State. At the expiration of our tenure, we will not take it away. It's still going to be there. These are something that will promote us economically, socially, and talk of everything. These are something that will really define us as a state. So I want to appreciate His Excellency for his commitment and passion in this regard. And of course, we need to appreciate our people too for their understanding. But the truth of the matter is that we need more than that at the moment.
Now, if you want to look at it critically, just like Dele said, the purpose of opinion ordinarily is not that people don't want good roads or they don't want bridges, but they want fear, which is very, synonymous to others, to almost everyone, is that will this project be completed by this government at the expiration of its tenure in 2019? Will this project not be abandoned? And the incoming government, will they be able to look at this project and say, okay, we are going to commit billions of naira to the completion of this project?
Well, to me, there's a saying that it is not over until it is over. In the recent time, people are complaining that see the situation of roads, the road has been abandoned, all sort of things. Of course, you are aware of this. And as soon as we the government puts our uh, we put everything in shape, you could see that virtually all the contractors, they have returned back to the site. What does that tell you? It really shows that the passion and commitment to serve is still there. So by the special grace of God, and we pray to God to provide for us as a state, to bless our state. I want to assure them that the present administration, led by our own visionary leader, His Excellency the Senator of Federal Republic, Senator Adekunbi, will do everything to ensure that all the project is completed. And you could see that we are being strategic and tactical in the approach. So it's still ongoing. So I want our people to know that we'll do our best in putting all the basic needs in place for them as a government.
All right, so if you just joined us, it's Citizens Forum on the Daybreak Show this beautiful Thursday morning. And studio, the Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Suraj Ishola Adekunbi,
For the commendation, and let me just tell you that the primary responsibility of any government is to see to the welfare and security of the citizenry. And I want to believe that under welfare, I believe that a lot of things are there. And when you look at the way we have been doing things from inception of our administration, you could see that we have been doing people-oriented programs. And of course, our people, human want is insatiable. And even, let me just tell you this, when you give somebody an opportunity as we speak now, and after all is said and done, in the next few seconds, that same person will still be requesting for more. It's normal. But what is key is just for us as a government to put in place all the necessary things that will bring about enhancement of our socio-economic well-being. So that is why in the area of construction of roads, area of creating enabling environment in our schools, provision of good healthcare delivery, urbanization, and agricultural that will lead to industrialization. All of this is being, put together and centered around our people. And let me appreciate the fact that what we have been doing in the state, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, is being people oriented. That's number one. Number two, regarding the issue of whether we collected money or not, collected money for what? The road that will be used, the road that after completion will be used by all of us, the road that will outlive our administration, the road that will bring about enhancement of our economy. So what is it for us to get money for what? Well, it's just a figment of imagination of some people. We are there to represent our people, and we do everything within our ability to ensure that we give them good representation. So we did not collect any money, I have to tell you this. And let me just tell you this, that the 10 lanes in question has been given approval since 2013. And if you have been following our politics as far as Ogun State is concerned, I believe that you knew what happened then. You knew the situation of things then. And you knew those that were in the House of Assembly then. If we had taken money, they will be the first to tell. In fact, they will have acted as a kind of whistle blower as at that time. As we speak, I'm telling you, our government, our governor is not the type. Is not the type. I have to tell you this. I'm not saying this to achieve anything, but I'm just telling you the way it is. It's not the type that believe in. If that is the case, probably there won't be anything in the state. If it's about money, nothing will work in the state again. Nothing.
Let's call
So, morning, sir. Therefore, let me talk about the ongoing road construction from Lafiawa to Ayotoro. Well, of course, uh, just of recent, the contractors, like I've said earlier, they are just being mobilized back to the sites. And when you get to the area in question now, in the recent time, uh, the contractor, they have done something compared to the way it used to be in the past. And let me just tell you this, that that particular road is as important to us like every other road in the state. My own chairman, House Committee on Works, lives around the place, and it is the same road that leads to my hometown, Ayetoro. And of course, we have started. The government has, have started something there, and as we are doing something there, the something must be going around other area in the state. And I want to assure you that by His grace, the job will be completed. His Excellency has given the assurances, and of course, I wouldn't want you to doubt that. All that is required of you is just for you to continue to pray for us. The government has demonstrated it, and when you look at the road very well, it still remain that same standard. And when you look at all the areas in the state today, the job, they are partially all the contractors are doing their job. So let us give us time, and I believe that everything will be well as expected.
All right.
Regarding the technical education, well, it's a good thing that education without vocational skill is nothing, as people used to say. When you get to Idiaba today, you will see a lot of development that is ongoing. And of course, the issue of governance is not that you can do everything at a go. And what is happening at Idiaba, Government Technical College Idiaba, to me is a sort of pilot scheme. By the time that one is done, then they will move from that place to other areas in the state. So I want to assure you that the government, as far as I'm concerned, is doing something in that regard. Regarding the pensioners, well, let me appreciate our fathers for their effort, because whether we like it or not, your contribution, the foundation you have laid is what the successful administrations are building on. So we appreciate the fact that you have done well, and of course, we have a law in place too. Before anything could be done, I think we must have an operating guide. So if there's anything you feel we can do at our level, we are more than ever ready to do that. And when we nearly came on board, I think we did something regarding the pension law, and virtually all the stakeholders were invited, and they had their own contribution before the bill was passed into law. So when you have anything, you have any complaint at our level, our door is open. You put us there to give you that fair and quality representation. So that is that regarding that.
Messages?
All right, so let's quickly start with a tweet. This one says, "What is the essence of the LCDAs and what benefit are we getting from this creation of LCDAs?" I think the speaker touched on that earlier. Kunle Gab says, "Mr. Speaker, what do you have to say about Ijaka, Uke, and Isale Ijon Road? The rain is here again. Time is going." Ajibabi Adetunji says, "I would like to commend Mr. Speaker for his managerial skills in successfully managing a multi-party house and his colleagues for
Thank you.
years. You've done your best for Ishoko. We passionately need your experience at the state level to be our next governor." That's Ajibabi Adetunji. This one says, "As the commissioner provided the assembly with the report on how the Parilo refund was expended." I think we talked about that earlier. Sheon Fumi Udunowo says, "Parochialism and nepotism is the business of the day in Nigeria. Knowingly or not, the political caucus of the APC are the only beneficiaries of dividends of democracy in Ogun State. Please see to that, sir."
Do you want me to react to that?
Yes.
We have our rules everywhere. The schools, the modern schools, is everywhere, open to the public.
All right. Oluwase Emmanuel says, "What are the states of assembly doing to bring power, mineral resources, and other to residual list for state government to harness it?" That's Oluwase. Still talking about constitutional amendment.
Thank you. That can be done during the constitutional amendment.
All right. Yemi Da Vinci says, "Mr. Speaker, you've been carefully sidestepping some questions that have been thrown at you. Please, we can also do the same in 2019. I must commend the Ogun Assembly for the Accident Victims Bill and the land grabbing law. We need more of such laws implemented." Sheonfumi Odunawa continues with this: "If there is limitation to human development, who will manage all these wonderful and mighty projects in progress in the future?" All right, let's go to the messages via the short code now. We have a couple of them. This one says, "Good morning, Right Honorable Speaker. Please, what have we done to our governor for not paying local government gratuity? The last payment was in October 2011. After all, we all voted him to power." Pius sent in that one. This one says, "Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Please, can you tell us what the offense of people on Lafenwa Randa Road is? Your government has turned a deaf ear to our plight. Is this democracy or wickedness? Do something. That road is something else." That's Kenny from Rounder. "Mr. Speaker, what are you doing towards the payment of severance packages for political office holders that served between 2007 and 2015, both at the state and local government? I remember that the governor said he has paid from the first Parry Club money he received, but nothing came out from it to the beneficiaries. We learned that you have been proving some governor's aid on this issue. What is your position on this?"
Can the speaker quickly just speak on that?
Well, regarding the payment of security allowance, uh, I want to believe that His Excellency has spoken about this and he's made his position known to everybody regarding that. We can't be, everybody cannot be given the money at a time. Those that have taken have taken. So I believe that the next batch of people to be taken will be adequately taken care of. We are working on that. You know, that's the constituency I belong to. And we cannot be here and be looking. We have been doing everything. And that's the constituency Mr. Governor belongs to too. So he will do everything humanly possible to ensure that that money is paid. And regarding the issue of Lafenwa,
Okay.
the project is ongoing. The contractors are there. Maybe people are complaining about the pace of work, but the truth of the matter is that it's a process. You can't just, it's like building a house. It involves a lot of process activities. So I would just want to appeal to our people to just be patient with the government.
So which of the aides of governors are you probing over the?
Well, I wouldn't know where they got the information from.
All right. So
the truth is that you know, we are accountable to our people, so they have every
to ask questions. All right, Cosmos is asking this question: Is it not anarchy to share assets of local government areas with unconstitutional LCDAs? Okay, and this one says, good morning, Dele and Tobi, Mr. Speaker, sir. From the beginning of this administration till date, what is the total amount of loans your government has collected from banks and elsewhere? Do you have plans to pay all before the end of this administration? If you do, how do you intend to pay all? Mr. Speaker, that's Kolawole Joseph. Just quickly address that.
But the truth of the matter is that I just mentioned that anytime Mr. Governor is coming for the presentation of the bill, all that is needed regarding our finances, to me, we always is part of the budget. So we don't really, you know, and the moment the budget is presented, it has become a public document. So there's nothing to hide. Mr. Governor has come out severally to tell us the position of things in the state. So nothing to fear about.
All right, Kadu Lumide says, Right Honorable Suraj Adekunbi, Speaker, sir, please facilitate, like you've always done before now, the shops for traders who the government of Ogun State met on ground at the sanction of marking their shops for development in all those places of development so that they be reallocated appropriately based on trust, assessment, and confidence they have in this your government. By this, hope you will use your good office to see that not even one of such old traders regret their original trust they had in you and the executive. That's kind of Olumide. Abdulrashid Okela says, Sincerely, I'm pleased with your peaceful and progressive administration, though there are some shortcomings, but the fact remains that you surpassed the last legislative arms, where crisis rocked all day within the executives and the legislatives. Closure of House of Assembly on several occasions. If Governor could achieve all this with you, please support with you people support, I think you all deserve kudos. To me, this is how it should be, not throwing chairs and benches in the house, impeachment here and there. Please keep it up, sir.
Thank you,
I am
sir.
enjoying your leadership style. All right,
Thank
that's
you.
Abdulrashid Okela. This one says, Right Honorable Speaker, sir. Good morning and well done. Could you analyze the project already executed and completed in Ogun West? And why can't you use your position to lobby for the upgrading of the OOU Agri Campus in Ayetoro into Ogun State University of Agric so that Ogun West 2 can boast of a university? That's MOK from Ayetoro. You want to quickly address that?
Let me just appreciate everybody for uh, their contributions, the questions, commendations, and their for pouring their opinion regarding our administration. But on the issue of highlighting the project to Ogun West, to me it could be a little bit tasking because I'm the speaker for Ogun State. I can only speak about that when I have probably, I cannot speak about it offhand, let me put it that way. But the truth of the matter is that the present administration has really done well in that regard. As we speak today, the Agbara road is ongoing. Agbara Lusada is ongoing. And of course, I wouldn't want to say much so that people will not say, what, is, what are they expecting you to say other than that? But the truth of the matter is that we have more than enough projects in Ogun West, more than enough that are ongoing and that by His grace that will be completed. So we still need more, and by His grace, we are still going to facilitate more.
Yeah, quickly, let's say
And
quickly.
regarding the issue of upgrading of
OOU in
Of,
Ayutoro.
in
yes.
Ayodo, well, first of all, let me appreciate the fact that the faculty just moved to their permanent site, and I think that is a right 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 step in the right direction. So once that one is done, and if the faculty is fully established, then we can think about other things. And what is key at the moment is just for that one to be fully established. It's just for that faculty to have more students. So by the time that one is done, I think that we should be open for other things. Mind you, you know that place is not the only faculty outside the main campus. We have that of Ibuku, and we have other institutions attached to it, like the OSUT and uh, other campuses. But the truth of the matter is that by His grace, God will help us as a government.
All right, so let's have more messages. Cosmos from Goshen Estate here in Ashiro says, "Good morning, Honorable Speaker. I just want to inquire if there's any law that has been promulgated that will mandate the state government to rehabilitate the deplorable road to Obafemi Ajibor Road alongside the present road reconstruction and expansion. Or what is the government doing towards getting it rehabilitated to make it more tolerable?"
Well, you are talking about Ajibo. Well, you will see that from Yana Mortuary to OGTV, there's an ongoing construction. And there's no way they could jump that place before getting to Ajibo. So, to me, government has started something. Just that everybody should just exercise patience. And we believe that the one we have done will not go back there again because of the standard being put in place. And everybody, to me, will enjoy that. It's just a matter of time.
All right, let's quickly run through the remaining messages so we can attend to the calls. Mr. Speaker, sir, are you aware that local government workers and pensioners are yet to collect their arrears of deductions and gratuities since 2012? Local government sectors or workers no more good people of Ogun State. Tragedy in Showemimo. This one says, sir, one Jamin bill you have never been able to touch is the issue of noise pollution. Why has it become a no-go area? Despite that, I have sent a letter to your office and received and acknowledged about this particular monster called noise. What are you doing to give the people a balanced bill on noise pollution now? Uh, that is Kyle Olumide. All right, this one says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. Well done. Could you, okay, I think MO Kaito was sent that message twice. Honorable Speaker, the people of the state want to know how the private money was spent because the Commissioner for Finance told the House of Assembly member committee that no documents to back up the payment, and most of the pensioners from July 2013 to January 2014 are yet to collect their gratuities as at today. And workers' cooperative deductions are now being owed to the tune of 16 months. Shola sent in that one. And this one says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. Have you observed that Mr. Governor has taken the people of Iowa for granted because no infrastructure was made around the area unless Ayetoro Road, your hometown? What is your plan for the Iowa Wori to become governor in Ogun in 2019? Tosin from Ilaro sent in that one.
Well, let me just start by talking about the last one. Uh, Ogun West is an integral part of Ogun State. We are major stakeholder in Ogun State. And I want to tell you that His Excellency appreciates everybody in the state. So therefore, you cannot take anybody for granted. And our administration will never take everybody for granted. So you just mentioned that Ayeto Road, what of Ota? There's an ongoing project in Ota there. But I just want us to be appreciative of the one we have seen. Because there's a saying that says in Yoruba, Teruba Dupe, Agba mi. The truth of the matter is that the government is not doing anybody any favor other than being responsible to the people. But we need to be appreciative of the one we have seen, because that is the starting point. And regarding the issue of the local government not being paid, well, I believe that at that level we have the relevant agencies, and since we came on board, everybody is being alive to their responsibilities. Even though there is an issue for us to handle, we have a way of getting that one done. The assembly is there, the relevant agencies is there for you to lobby your complaint. So in that context, everybody is important in Ogun State. So that is that regarding that.
Mr. Speaker, please let us know what the Assembly is doing about the. Uh, I think this has been handled, Mr. Saka. Um, Mr. Speaker, it is up to you if the local government ex political office holders 2017 to 2015 got their severance allowances or not. Please save our souls. That's coming from Honorable Keshinro. Um, Mr. Speaker, the so-called civil servants are still being owed their deductions and leave bonuses. What's your take on this? Because administration is less than 1 year to go. Please help us to address this. Francis, your mathematics is wrong.
Less than 1 year. Okay.
Your mathematics is wrong, Francis. Um, this one says, this is from Papa. Mr. Speaker, I'm a young man at the age of 30 years and I had a political appointment. So I'm happy for you as a young man. Uh, okay.
That's
And
my
educational profile. And this one says, Mr. Governor, we never asked you for free education. You promised us free education on May 29, 2011, no payment of WIAC fees and Ogun Education Summit. Well, that's Shola sending that one. Prince Suraj Adekunbi, you have shown how good this administration is performing. Rome was not built in a day. That's coming from Bola. All right. Okay. That's it for the messages.
All right, whatever message that we have unread, we will transfer it to Mr. Speaker for his perusal and attention. Okay, Mr. Speaker, can you just have a 30-second submission and then we call it a day?
well, first of all, I need to appreciate the people of Ogun State for giving our administration the opportunity to serve there. And I want to appreciate His Excellency for his leadership styles. And I want to use this medium also to appreciate my distinguished colleagues for their understanding, cooperation, and patience. And of course, we believe that when you look at the whole thing today, it's just a privilege to serve. And we are appreciative of the fact that the people of Ogun State gave us their mandate. And we want to assure them that the mandate will not be taken for granted.
All right,
we
just
are
as
still part of them, and we do everything in our ability to ensure that we do our best within the confine of law.
just as we will never take you for granted, yes, we have to end it here today. Next week, by the grace of God, that is the Democracy Week. We will be here with you to X-ray. Let's look at the administration 6 years after. We look at the different sectors, the performances, and your critical analysis and submission on the administration of Ibukule Amusun 6 years after, all through next week.
And of course, we'll be looking at the race to the government house.
Yes, who succeeds
in
Amosu
2019.
next week. Dele Ayodo is my name. I say God bless you all. God bless Nigeria and God bless Rock City.
I am Tobi Joseph. Have a wonderful Thursday.